everybody. Today I'm going to be making a vanilla 3-tier cake. It's a 6-inch pan. One of my work friends' daughters has a birthday this weekend and she has asked me to make a mermaid cake. So really excited. But the great thing is this is such a great base cake. It's a vanilla flavored cake and it's a really nice solid but moist cake. You can sculpt it a little bit if you need to, or you can just keep it a straight up 3-layer cake with buttercream in between layers. So I'm just gonna get started by mixing my 2½ teaspoons of baking powder. I'm gonna whisk it into my 2 cups of flour. So I'm gonna set that aside and cream the butter. Here I have 1 cup of butter. The recipe calls for unsalted butter, which I did not have in the fridge. So I'm just omitting the ½ teaspoon of salt, and this butter is room temperature. Now I'm just gonna cream this for about 30 seconds until it's nice and smooth. So I have my stand mixer fit with the paddle attachment, and I've just creamed my 1 cup of butter. So now I'm just gonna add my 1½ cups of white sugar. And now I'm gonna whip this for about 8 to 10 minutes. So that's been about 10 minutes and it is looking mighty fluffy. So now I'm gonna add 4 eggs. These eggs are at room temperature, so I took them under the fridge about an hour before I started this batter. Sometimes I forget to do that, so if you do, you can actually just pop them in the microwave for about 10 or 12 seconds, and that will bring them to room temp really well. And I'm gonna add them one at a time, beating for 1 minute in between each egg. And in between each addition of the eggs, we wanna scrape the sides down. And I don't recommend putting the beater on and then cracking the egg in while you're beating it, because should you accidentally drop an eggshell into the mixer while you're beating it, really hard to retrieve those little tiny pieces of eggshell. And yes, I'm speaking from experience. Everything is looking really nice and really fluffy in there. You can see that, it's looking awesome. I'm now going to add my vanilla and my oil. So I have 1 tablespoon of vanilla, and I have a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. And I'm just gonna mix that up until it's all incorporated. Nothing smells like vanilla. So yum. So now I've come to the part where I need to add the flour and the milk. So I'm gonna add the flour in 3 equal parts and the milk in 2 equal parts. So 1/3 of the flour mixed until incorporated, 1/2 of the milk mixed until incorporated, another 1/3 of flour, mix, the rest of the milk, mix, and then the flour. And so the idea is starting and ending with flour. So let's do this. I'm just kind of guesstimate what 1/3 of this is. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm gonna add 1/2 of my milk. Okay, I'm gonna mix this up. Add another 1/3 of my flour. Just giving that a mix, starting it on slow. Okay, that's good enough. That looks perfect. So I am now ready to pour this into my prepared 6-inch pans. So I've got 3 of these. I've sprayed them with a baking spray and I've lined the bottom with a round cutout of parchment paper. Nothing is worse than baking a cake and then not being able to get it out of the pan. So I'm just wanting to pour the batter in evenly, essentially. So, and you never want to overfill a cake pan because cakes do rise and then you wind up with a really awful mess on your hands. Just one last little mix to make sure there's no chunks of butter or anything stuck at the bottom. So it's quite a thick batter, so I'm just going to help it along with my spatula. So now I'm just smoothing my cakes out with my spatula just to make sure that they're more or less evenly filled. I think these look fantastic. So you can see approximately how full they are. They're about 2/3 full, I would say. So now I'm just gonna pop these in a 350-degree oven for 25 to 30 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean.